Okay, welcome everybody to the 5G Go Zone. I'm Nancy Schwab, the resident app mama here at Unleashed Mobile Apps. And today, like always, I want to start with what the 5Gs are all about. The 5Gs are all about mobile apps, but it's a little bit further than that. Our 5Gs are actually gratitude. What have you got? What are you giving? What do you want to get today? And of course, how do you want to grow? So I'd like to start with my quick 5Gs, which are my gratitude. I am very, very grateful for every day that we have that we can share and explore mobile apps. I think it's just a wonderful uh, venue that we have going on here because mobile apps are growing and growing exponentially. There's a lot of stats that I've had out there that I've shared lately where it's like a $2 billion industry. So I'm glad that you're wanting to be part of that. And what have I got? I've got some knowledge to share with you. I've got my time that is always available to you. And today I want to give you the next step for your mobile app idea, or better yet, answer your question. And what if I want to get out of this? I love to get some growth out of this, new ideas, fresh ideas, and things that I can share. And my growth is to let this group explode. So if you know of anybody who should be part of us, please step in and let's talk about that. So right now we've got Luke, and Luke, tell us real quick, what is your app that you have, because I know you're very grateful for that. So we'll just jump right to the app. So what's your app that you have?
Yeah, the app that we have is for our marketing firm. So it allows you to upload documents straight to us. It allows you to preview, quick bios of different services we have. I think it tells a little bit about the accountants. You can see all of our different locations. We have 3 locations. It has a little note section if you want to make notes for the upcoming tax season. And it also has push notifications to let you know about important dates coming up for your taxes or for tax season.
Excellent, excellent. And you give throughout the year with the calendar that is there, because aren't dates always changing I mean, yes, we all know it's typically April 15th for
hmm
personal and March 15th for business taxes, but sometimes that changes, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah. It'll change depending if it falls on a weekend, or it'll change depending on circumstances like when COVID happened when they extended it. So we keep
Mhm.
up to date and let you guys know. So
Exactly, exactly. So that is a wonderful gift. So today, what is it that you want to get?
today, maybe just some more knowledge about um, getting our app out there now that tax season is coming up, ways to sneak in our QR code, and maybe just ways to promote it more because we're so busy with taxes, we might forget to add that stuff.
Mhm.
So it's a good time to be refreshed right as the season approaches.
Excellent. So, okay, so the season's approaching.
hmm
What is your initial contact with your audience, with your clients? What is it that you're preparing to do right now?
as to sending out the organizers, you mean?
Okay, you're sending out organizers, correct?
Yes, yes, we're sending out organizers to request their tax information
And do
to
you
us.
do that physically in the mail, like a nice little gift that they get in the mail, or
Mm.
is it electronically that you're sending the form out?
We are now enrolling in electronically, so we're doing it through email, but we still have a large amount of clients who still like the physical too. So
Mhm.
right now we're getting out the physical, and then we'll do all the emails.
Excellent. Okay, so here's what I would suggest. Take your QR code and make it part of the letter that you're going to put with them of how to do this,
hmm
because they can scan the QR code to download your app right away. And then from there, give them instructions that they will be able to upload their documents through the app directly into the right into your portal, right?
hmm
And what's really important about that is not only will it get them to put the app on the phone, it will also give them a reason to use the app. And you have made their life easier because most people do not have a scanner these days. They might have one at work, but they don't always want to, take their private documents there. They might have a printer. I know of people who don't even have printers anymore. right? They're
Right.
strictly doing everything there. So now you've sent them this physical form, and they can use their smart device to scan. I believe most cameras have scanners, or there's free apps out there. One of the apps that I've used is called Scan Pro, I believe it is. Now I have to look here, folks. Yes, Scanner Pro. It's really nice because not only does it automatically save to your phone if you wanted to, you can upload it to one of your drives like Google OneDrive, whatever. So you're able to use this app. I've used it for decades. But what I would highly suggest is that you instruct people. And that's one way to do it. The same when you send it out electronically and they sign up for the e-forms, put that QR code in there and say, scan this, because you've hit on a very important part. 90% of the time, people do not download your app because they don't know it exists. And then once they do that, they don't necessarily keep it active on their phone, because there's a lot of phones now that will offload unused apps. So you want to make sure that you're sending out push notice reminders. Hey, if you haven't uploaded your information yet, please do so. The 15th is coming. The sooner you get the information in, the faster. You can even share other push notices. In your particular case, once the portal is open, because I know people can give you their federal and state information right now, but other than get it prepared to be uploaded, you can't do anything until the federal and the state opens up their portals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you could send out the push notice as soon as the portal is open. And that way you don't have to notify people individually that, hey, we're submitting your taxes. You can notify them via the push notice and say, the portal is open. If you haven't gotten us your information, please get us your information now. So it's ways to do that. And also, once you have people on the app, do a little survey, and that can be done with just a simple form. And you can either do it with a form link to your CRM, or there's a form that we can create right in the app itself, and ask people what they like and dislike about the app. What more would they want to see? Because that's the user piece of it. Yes, we've got the calendar in here. Yes, we have ways to connect directly with your accountant in here. Yes, we have ways to upload your documents. But what else might they want to see from you? And that way you're tailoring the app to your clients. And once they give you feedback, they've owned it. They're now like, oh, this is so cool. I want to see this. So there's a lot of different things we can do within the app, and we can create it into just a very simple form where they can just tap away. I want to see this, this, and this, and then add in comments and submit it that way. So, and the other thing is that form can be shared out socially, and for people to complete it, they have to download your app. I'd like to see you start to take your app beyond the walls of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Because you do service
we do.
You service the entire United States. And I don't think there's any states that you are not allowed to do state taxes for. I don't think there's any regulation, if I recall. So do those couple of things help you out here?
Yeah, I got a bunch of notes right now. So yeah.
Excellent. Just simple little ways. And don't forget, include it on every email, the short link that we've given you, as well as the QR code. Because let's not forget, people either are on their smartphones when they're reading the email, or they're at their computer and they can scan the QR code.
Okay.
And so I think that's really important.
Okay.
So,
and then can you send that to me again, just so I have it really accessible then?
You got it. I will send you the link and the QR code. Let me make a note of that, because despite the fact that apps are my world, my father has always said, a short pencil goes further than a long mind.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so QR code and short link. You got it. I will ship that over to you as soon as we are done here today. I do have another meeting right after this, and I'll catch it in between.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, that'll work. Awesome. Luke, you got any other questions before we bring Janae on?
I should be good right now.
Excellent. Janae, you there with us? Janae. There we are. Can't hear you. See if you've allowed your microphone, because it does not seem to be letting you speak. Let me just see here. If you're muted, you're muted. Try that.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. It's amazing how that mute has something to do with things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So awesome. Well, welcome today. Luke and I were just going over things that we could do for his app. And so starting with the ever typical 5Gs, let's hear it. What are you grateful for today?
That's hard to say when it comes to this app right now.
Okay.
Well, I'm grateful for my friend coming on to help. I'll say that.
Good. So you have somebody new helping you now.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. You and I probably need to privately catch up then. I remember we were talking about, she's the marketing person.
She has a business degree and she's basically helping us structure everything. But just last night she sent me her feedback off of the app, and it was not good.
Okay, so you've got an app, you've given that app, you're ready to give that out free. And so today I hear you want to get some information. So please let's share what is that, and maybe we can help you with the navigation of this app. So what was her feedback? First of all, for people who are listening, give a real quick synopsis what your app does.
So my target market really is to go into schools to help kids graduating high school figure out what they want to do with their life. So basically, it's 5 different things you can look at on the app. So if you want to take up a trade, go to the military, start a business, go to college, or just go to work. Either way, all 5 things should be on the app and should be able to create a plan. Or if you just want to simply just do research and figure out how much does that career make. Is it a growing field? Is it a dying field? Which college would be good to go to? So that's pretty much just a small synopsis of what it does.
Okay. So what was her feedback on it right now?
So when she played with it for a couple of days, she said she felt like she did not understand the purpose of it. Like it's not easy to understand. She said it needs a better landing page. We need something that pretty much grabs their attention. And then it's even more difficult because all the content is not in there. So it made it even harder to even play with it. Um, so she said even with the milestones, we need more milestones that's like already put in there. Um, yeah, it was. She had a lot of stuff to say about it. And I was just like, oh Lord, because
So
we had a meeting last week, and my job was to basically figure out like 5 testers that could play with it. You're right. So I had got all of their email addresses, and we were going to send it out and get people to start testing. But when she's saying this now, it makes me feel like, oh, maybe I should pull back on that part and just like really try and see what we can do to make it better and even like function better. Like I feel like it's just not functioning how it should.
don't pull back on that part. She might be a lone soldier and she might be the leading of the group, right? You can't always
Mhm.
take what one person tells you. Um, Here's an idea that we'd have to really dive into this. So one thing that I think you should have
Mhm.
is like some really quick onboarding tutorial type thing. And what I mean by that is, have you ever gotten an app and all of a sudden there's like 5 screens to swipe through, like a
Mhm.
welcome, and then you can hit
Mhm.
either skip or watch it. So my bank, for example, just completely refreshed their app, and the very first time you logged into it, it started saying this is here, and every screen you swipe, right? Now,
Mhm.
instead of having the app programmers create that for you, there's actually an easier, quicker way to do it that's a little bit more cost effective. And it's through a group called One Signal. And that's, I believe, Benny Robinson are able to work directly with One Signal, because what One Signal does is sends out push notices. right? For the apps that are not in, like yours, Luke, is part of the native group, and the app is, the push notices are part of the app. But when she's doing it from creating it from zero, there's a third party that can do this. In this third party, you can create a tutorial like that, just like up, I think it's up to 5 screens that
Mhm.
say this is this, this is this, this is this, is that. And it makes it really easy for anybody who now opens up the app and they can see that. So that might be one thing. Okay. I agree with the content. You know, yours has to be pretty content rich. But I think that might help solve the problem of people not knowing what to do when they first open it up. Does that
Mhm.
make sense?
Right.
Okay, so I would look for, it's called One Signal, and they have free
Mhm.
versions and paid versions. I know for a fact that Benny and Robinson do work with them because we
Mhm.
talked about that for a different app.
Okay.
And Benny might have another one that he works with, but I'm just familiar with One Signal. And
So,
yeah, go ahead, ask your
what do
question.
you what do you think about? Do you think we should go back to Benny Robinson and ask for more stuff, or should we just really wait and let Nate finish entering the content and get some more feedback?
I like the second idea first.
Okay.
Um, and I would be so bold as to go to a school, because I know you have school contacts, ask for a select group of, say, 10 to 15 kids and get them in the room that day. You know, tell them it's going to be about an hour, whatever, feed them cookies, right? Get them,
Mhm.
get them a reason to come, and get your feedback directly from your audience before you go back to Benny and Robinson and make a whole boatload of changes, because it might be just tweaks. Now I understand where your friend is coming from, and maybe it's just as simple as adding the onboarding screens. And you can even maybe not necessarily have the onboarding screens in the app already, but what you could do is in front of the group say, all right, we're going to be adding this in, but here's the slides, or have a handout, right? And say, here's the slides. All right, everybody read that. You read this, you read this. And now go without spending money, right? Oh, well, okay,
Mhm.
it's going to probably cost you some sandwiches, but you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And get that group to give you actual feedback, because that's your user. So, and you could do it even right now without all the content in there.
Mhm.
You could still do it now and just tell them, guys, the content is coming, but I just need you to give us your thought process. And if you go to the school, they'll handpick the kids for you because they know who will treat it with respect and
Um,
give you the good
and
feedback.
then I had talked to the lady at church who knows somebody at Milwaukee Public Schools too, and she was like, they would be excited to receive anything right now. So it makes me feel excited, but then I feel deflated the minute I get feedback on it and it's not where it's supposed to be, and I just be like, oh Lord, this is just.
It's okay. So I want you to really adopt this saying. And I first heard this from Tony Robbins, giving credit due to where credit belongs. And a mobile app is exactly what he calls CANI, constant and never ending improvement. Okay. Luke and I were just talking about that for his app. Instead of having it just be stale, start asking the people what they want and make some changes. Improvements are always necessary, but you got to start somewhere, because if you keep waiting and waiting and waiting, that's it's not going to, you're never going to get it done. And I know you're also feeling the internal pressure of getting it out there and starting to turn this into something that brings and generates income. So you need to balance that. But I think you should reach out, and if not somebody at the Milwaukee Public School, I know Christopher, my son, he will put together a little focus group for you. Host something after school, bring the kids, feed them, right? Because I know a lot of kids will be more than happy to come in, especially if they're able to chow down on sugar and, subs or pizza or whatever it is, right? It doesn't have to be expensive, but get in a small group. I wouldn't go above 20. I would keep it between 10 and 15, handpicked by whoever is running the school, because you don't know these kids, and tell them what you're looking for. And preferably even a variety of kids, somebody who might be thinking about the military, kids who don't have a clue, something along those lines. So I would yeah.
You'll be happy to know we've been doing meetings once a week, every Thursday, all of
Good.
us to talk about it so we can kind of keep notes and keep track and moving forward. Because I feel like that's why a lot of stuff been put by the wayside because we don't communicate about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because we waited so long with them to finish it, and it was so. We're trying to get back on track.
Yep.
Uh, but that when she said that last night, I'm like, oh Lord, it's. So I
Well,
was like,
and okay, so don't let that deflate you. Okay, so I will give you an example of one that also Benny and Robinson are working on, and they did a market survey, and it was whether or not it's a gifting app, and I know we've talked about this app before, but the question was, kind of like an overall opinion, and it had a few questions to it, right? And the one person said, I'm so glad this isn't hooked up to anything like taking me out to Amazon or other places. And the next person said, gosh, I wish this had a link to take me out to Amazon. So how do you take just one person's opinion, right? You have to look at the whole group. So what you should do, is come up with survey questions for these kids and have them not only give you the feedback that you want, and if there's some way you need more than one person in the room when you do this, because somebody has to be taking serious notes, and you could even put it up on the whiteboard, taking the notes and saying, okay, this is the feedback that we're getting, so you can snap a photo of it afterwards. And then at the very end, say, okay, now let's go through. Now that you've done all this, I need these 10 questions answered. And just have a handout that they can answer these 10 questions for you without them, realizing what the other person is saying. Now, because you live in Milwaukee, and if you time this right, that I'm available, I'm happy to go in on this meeting with you.
Okay.
Okay. Definitely happy to do that, but I would do that sooner than later and not wait for anything more. Just start to get the feedback now, because you have a great base and you have something kids can use. It's like, how can we get them to use it? And maybe your friend, as brilliant as she is, just might have been looking at it from it depends who she is. Meaning, is she a person that has to have all the information before she can go forward? Is she a person who just likes poking and, let me just see if I can make it work? See, you got to take into account that as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
She said, I don't want you guys to lose out on getting a contract because the product isn't like good enough or whatever. Something she said. She worded it probably way nicer than that, but that's how I read it. And I'm not disagreeing with her, but it's what you said, what Maggie keeps saying. You gotta put it out there, see what happens or whatever. And I'm not saying put it out. I'm not trying to go to Milwaukee Public Schools yet. I was trying to get the feedback from the middle school kids,
okay.
doing some testing with them. The other question that came up, one of my sister people had asked her about, have we tried to do any market research? How do you do that?
Okay. So it's funny that you say that, because we have somebody else that I just had this conversation with. And there's a couple ways you can do this. Now, we do have a firm that we work with that will do a formal market research, and they will form the questions, and they will analyze the data, and they will get you the responses, etc. Now, it's not inexpensive. So with that said, you can do this yourself. And the way you can do this is to set up a survey and target market the survey to your audience. Now, you can do this in a couple of different ways. You can just do it online if you want total anonymous feedback. And you can use things like Google Survey and SurveyMonkey, etc. Or I think it's
Mhm.
SurveyMonkey. But anyway, you can do those things, right? And what they did in their market research is they created screenshots. They created a little explainer video of what they were looking for,
Mhm.
and then they came up with 10 questions. Now you can do this. Like I said, we can hire a formal company to do it, but I'm being brutal when I tell you it's like right around $5,000, right? So I'd like to try to
Oh,
avoid that. Right. I wasn't kidding when I said it's not
no.
inexpensive. So there's ways around this. Okay. So you can either go to a school and say, I need as many kids as I can to just take this online survey for me.
Mhm.
And that's a way to do the market research and
Mhm.
see how many will do that. You can post it on social and say, hey, I'm looking for anybody who has kids in this age to take this survey for me. Now, the
Yeah.
problem when you start posting it on social, you can't always guarantee the quality of the responses that you get because people are not kind, right? Somebody might say, oh, I'm a 14-year-old kid that's looking to change a career, and it's really some idiot that's over in Singapore that's, 40
Mhm.
years old that's just giving you stupid answers, right? So,
Well, no, I wanted to target. It was like certain questions, like you know how you said you change careers at a certain age.
mhm,
So I want to figure out like what resources are available to those people right now, or even like somebody that's incarcerated and they're
right,
coming out of jail. What type
right.
of things is set up to help them figure out how to get to the next level? So it's just like certain target of people I wanted to get to. The high school students, that'll be an easy market because like you said, we could just go into a school and just ask. But it's the other groups of people that I wouldn't mind, like, or like you said, if they were, I could put that on social media, like if you change careers at 35,
Mhm.
what resources did you use to do that?
Right, exactly. And you can just start market researching. And the beauty of market researching like that through social is you're telling people there's an app coming. It's kind of like saying the circus is coming, the circus is coming, right? And you're going to
Hmm.
capture their email address and you're going to be able to put them on your email list to nurture them for when it's coming. Now, you are putting a little bit of the cart before the horse in that you got to release your app first, but you can still go ahead and I would research. I would do a couple of steps here and do them one at a time, please. First, go to the school, pick any school, and ask the advisor if they could put together 10 to 15 kids on a specific day to specifically be able to open up the app and test it. Now, they have not actually published it on the stores yet, have they? Okay, they can. They could still publish it on the stores and
Hmm.
then the kids could download it. Nobody's going to find it yet. And I don't
Hmm.
mean to be that way, but even if somebody does find it, great. But for the most part, because you have to remember there's over 3 million apps on the store. So until you promote your app, nobody's going to find it. And that is very, very key. People think that just because your app is on the store, everybody's going to find it and download it. Not true. You've got to tell people. That's why Luke and I were talking today. He's got all these customers and they've only got, they've got a couple, I can't remember your exact number, but I know you're at least in the hundreds of downloads. And why, right? It's a beautiful app for people for accounting. It's because nobody knows where it is.
Hmm.
So don't be afraid of that. And they clearly can just easily publish it just on like Android if you want to just pick one instead of putting it on Apple. And then you can tell the teacher the kids have to have Android devices or make sure that there's enough Android devices in the rooms that the kids can use to pass around.
Okay.
and try it out. So that might be that if you want to go with just one place to publish it instead of having the kids teaching them how to download an APK, right?
Mhm.
To download the actual file, they can
Mhm.
publish it on Android. You could still publish it on Apple if you want to get the Apple experience as well. But I'll be honest with you, the hoops through Apple are a little bit more challenging than the hoops through Google. And
Okay.
it's also been my experience lately that the ratio of Android to Apple is actually getting pretty close to 50-50. So I
Mhm.
think the school finding 15 kids that are Android users, you'll be fine. And if the teacher says no, I can only find Apple users, then let's figure out a way to get some Android devices in their hands.
Mm.
Um, just to use right then and there, that kind of thing, right?
Okay.
I think you'll be surprised how many actually have. Well, you're an Android user, right? Yeah.
Yes.
See, okay, Luke, what are you, Android or Apple? Yeah, same here. But actually, I'm in this space, guys. I got them both, right? Because that's just what I do.
Yeah.
But I think we could. I think that needs to be your very very first step. And then as far as the other market research, it doesn't hurt to get it. You can get it as early as you want and start building that list. And it's a great way to build your list because I can think of a couple of things right offhand. Um, there's the workforce development.
Mhm.
They are always helping people. It's basically Wisconsin's workforce development is like the unemployment office. That might be
Mhm.
a really great spot to say, is there a way that I can list this for a survey on your website? Um, the other thing is that there are some other groups, and you just have to kind of search Facebook to find them that are adult career transitioning type groups. The other thing in Milwaukee, and I do not remember the name of it right offhand, there is a small group that is working on transition from incarceration.
Mhm.
And these people are the ones that really want help to transition in. I mean, you're kind of in a catch 22 with just the generic parole officers, right?
Mhm.
But there are, and I do not remember the name of the group right offhand, but there is a group out of Milwaukee that they meet once or twice a month. Maybe they even meet weekly to help them transition to find jobs and whatnot. And
Mhm.
POs invite people into the group. The other thing is you might want to find out who are the ones that are going into the jails and the prisons to uh, the ministers to minister in them. They know the contacts of who you have to talk to
Okay.
because that's just a great way to find out what's going
The
on.
social workers. The social workers at the
Social
jail.
workers. Yeah. Yeah. They're the ones that will say, oh, this is the group that I recommend people go join. Right.
Mhm.
And they're always, always, always looking for good resources to help their
Mhm.
people.
Oh, you know what? Justice Point.
There you go.
I had did a. I had a very good experience working with them when I was trying to get my master's degree, and I was like, oh, I don't like this place. It was the people. I didn't like none of the people. But
There's also I want to say it's out of Marquette. And what is the project? It used to be there. I'm trying to remember. It's the it's the project that people who have committed crimes can make amends to excuse me, their victims. And it's like re, I cannot remember it. I know it starts with an R. Restorative justice, I think it is, which basically if a violator wishes to um, speak with the victims and apologize and make amends with them, they go through this process at Marquette College University. I don't know if it still exists because it was one of the professors who was a judge that was running it. And I want to say the word restorative is in there, and I want to say it's restorative justice. I don't remember, but that might be a contact to help you figure out who else you can talk to.
Okay.
And as well as UW Milwaukee, I know Oshkosh has a very high crime of a very I don't mean high crime, has a very significant criminal justice courses. And they go in and they work with the prisons and stuff and the jails. I know Oshkosh does for sure. I'd be shocked if UW Milwaukee didn't have a criminal area as well. You know, the course, the major. And
So, but when you look at the app, Nancy, do you feel confused when you mess with it, or is just
no, but the problem is I'm close to it.
okay?
I know what it's supposed to do. And that's why I really want you to take that first step. The very, very first step is to be able to go and talk to the actual students and get what they think. And then I would ask it this way. I would say, okay, everybody, just open up the app, see if you can figure it out. And then give them a few minutes of that, get their feedback, and then say, okay, now if I would have shown you these 5 slides, would that have made it easier? What was confusing for you? Why wasn't, what's missing here? And what do you like? What is it that we could do better? And what is it that you like? And then show them the tutorial, because that right there might make a difference. Just somebody, when they open it up and say this, an explanator, explanation screens. So, and I'm just saying to do it through OneSignal versus having the guys hard code it for 2 reasons. One, it's more expensive to have them hard code. We are well aware of that.
Right.
And 2, with OneSignal, you can change it. As everything is changing, you can change it and make them walk through it that way. Yeah. Luke, you got anything for Jenna to add in, or any other suggestions in what she's trying to do?
He muted again.
Mute. There we go.
Okay, am I good now?
You're good now.
Okay. I'd like to see it. I wonder if I can download it or not. But
there you go.
But I don't know. It sounds like there's a lot to do on there, but it sounds like she's working in the right direction. So as for advice, I'd have to see it first, before, because I'm unfamiliar with it, so I don't want to give her, advice coming out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
When you're ready to share it, Jenna, we can put it in this group too.
Okay.
Sorry, Janae, I said that
But
wrong.
it does sound like a positive app that's definitely needed, though, within the community, or like you said, people coming out of jail, or students coming out of high school, because there's not a lot of that information when you come out. You're kind of stranded when you come out of high school and stuff. Nowadays they don't teach you nothing, like they don't teach you financial stuff in high school. They don't really teach you what you need to learn. You know what I mean? So when you get out,
right,
you really do feel lost. Like there's different points in your life where you feel lost, like out of high school, or like even when you're an adult, you're trying to change careers, like you said, and there's nobody to kind of guide you in those parts. So that's why I think the app is a good thing. And there's a lot to the app, which is okay, because like you said, apps are constantly growing, and so are we as people. So, but I think if you do hone down and keep working on the app, it is something that is needed and could be a positive thing to schools and adults and everybody.
Yep.
And then, like you said, you could end up getting a contract too with the school or something, like where they and want to pay you, and then they're just gonna, use that system for them. So it's all
exactly.
up to you, yes.
Oh, there's another good resource that you have to tap, my friend, that you have not. Wybic. You're in Wybic. They will do just about anything for you. and they will have the connections to be able to get some of this market research done to help you with that.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like with it. Okay.
Hey, don't forget about Wibbick. You're one of their customers.
Yes, my sister and they are the customer. Yes.
Yes, so you're part of that as a partner in that group, right?
Mhm.
You're part of it. So go be part of it. Go reach out to your advisor and say, all right, I need to do this. What resources does Wibbick have that can help me accomplish this? And you want to remind them that you're trying to keep it all budget friendly. But to Luke's credit, this is needed. He said it right. Now is the time, especially with the shifting economics. And, without going down the whole road of recession, there are a ton of shifts that are happening in our economy every single day. I mean, now there's talking that the recession is kind of on the downswing, right? And so that it does mean that unfortunately, when the recession happens, people are looking for jobs, right? So this is the perfect time for that. And there's a lot of jobs, unfortunately, that are being replaced by automation. But that means that other jobs are open. I mean, I don't care how automated you want to be. If your pipe bursts, you need a plumber. You can go to YouTube and an app all day long, but there is no app that's going to fix that, even though there may be an app that can take your order at McDonald's.
Right.
So that person that was working at McDonald's now needs to shift careers, and there's now an app for that. And maybe that person should go into the trades.
Right.
So let's
Yep.
get it going now. So I think
I
that
was gonna say, Luke, that's one of the things is that I really want to make the app where you can't make an excuse about why you can't be successful. You can
Right.
have somebody, well, I didn't know, and it's like, well, you have your phone in your hand all the time. And why
Yeah.
you can't figure out where to go to become a plumber or electrician, even realtors. Like nobody in high school tell you can be a realtor and that you don't have to go do 4 years of college to do that. Nobody shares that information with you. So that's the type of information I want to have on the app, and even
Mhm.
create a resource tab where it talks about credit because I have a cousin when we were younger. She probably was in her 20s and she was like she thought like the credit we was telling her about buying a house and she thought that the cell phone bill reports monthly to your credit report. I'm like, no, it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Like people don't know this type of stuff, so this is why I was like, I want to have more resource things on there. Um, it's a lot of stuff I want to do to it, but it's a matter of getting all the information in there so you can actually see how it functions.
Right.
but don't wait for it all. Start with what you have and realize that it's going to grow. Shoot, my bank, up until recently, they never showed you your credit score. Now it's part of the app, but I wouldn't have stopped using the app 3 years ago when it first came out, or even longer than that. And I could do an electronic deposit. That's all I was using it for. I was
Hmm.
using it to check my bills, to make sure that my accounts were good, to be able to do an electronic deposit and to shift money. Now all of a sudden you open the thing up and oh my gosh, there's credit reports and you can send money via Zelle to somebody else and you can manage your finances from it. You can manage if you've got a credit card or if you've got a 401k. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. But that didn't happen 5 years ago. We have to get back down to the Amazon example. When Amazon started, what were they? A book distributor. That's all they did was sell books. What did Netflix do when they first started? They mailed you DVDs. Now look at both of them now. And I guarantee you, if Amazon would have come out of the gate and said that they were going to be selling this and you can sell this on our platform and you can be an outside distributor and we're going to have these big facilities and we're going to have this whole big ecosystem, everybody would have gone, well, I don't need that. I can go to Walmart and Target and JC Penney. And now look, they've all jumped on to the Amazon way, but it grew. So don't feel you have to do everything in the beginning. Let it grow. So your first step today, whether you choose to do it or not, is to contact the school and get a focus group set.
But half
And
my eighth graders at MCP. I just
there you
gotta
go.
tell her when I'm coming.
There you go. So I would definitely talk to Robinson and say, can you at least publish it on Google? And then you can ask them how easy it would be to publish it on on Apple. But I have a hunch that's going to have a few more, because Apple really goes through the app and fine tooth to make sure every little function is working. And if it's not, then they kick it back. But also, if they kick it back, it's not a big deal. It just kicks back until you fix it, right? It's not like you can never be on Apple again. So I would talk to them today about getting it published so you can go to the focus group and you can use it. And then come up with like 5 slides, screenshots of how to set up the app, how to set up, and you can use the Figma stuff that if the Figma represents what it really is, you can use those right there and annotate them. Okay. And then after the kids try it on their own, then say, okay, if you had this resource, would it have helped you?
Okay. So this will be good for us to for our Thursday meeting. Mm-hmm. This will be a good thing to go over all the stuff I took notes on right now to see what they're thinking, what their feedback is. So
yes. And the replay of this will be up in the I've moved everything to the replays over into the Be Connected cloud. So if you haven't set up your Be Connected account to access them, let me know and I'll be happy to share that link for you. Okay. It's a free account, so don't worry about that, but all the replays are there. And then also if you have if Janae or if
you said it right.
Thank you. If your sister and Nate want to be able to see the replay of this, it's there. They can access it as well. So I would highly, highly recommend that, without a doubt. In fact, here, if you're on you're on the mobile, but Luke, let me see here. Luke, can you see this button up here that says Get Be Virtual? Or better yet, if you click this button over here that says Join the 5G Go Zone, do you see that one?
Yep.
If you click that, that'll take you into the Be Connected to be able to set up your recordings.
Okay.
To get to access the recordings. And they're all in there from last year already. So, but yeah, let's get you moving. And like I said, if you want me to come see the 8th graders with you, I am happy to help you with that. That's not a problem.
Okay.
So, and if you need my help with the questions, the questionnaire and what you're looking for, happy to help with that as well.
Okay.
And Maggie's another good resource since Maggie has 2 apps herself.
Yep, I met with her and my friend. We both met on the phone with her, and we pretty much agreed that we're gonna I'm gonna come back to her. Yeah. But she wants to stay updated on what we're doing.
There you go.
So the relationship is there. We just I still think like marketing wise, I probably am a few steps off from actually being ready to actually like. Mm-hmm. You say no, but I feel like I need a little bit more time before I put it out there.
Just do well, and you can put it out there via that survey. Hey, what did you do if we're developing an app right now? That you can do it without marketing the app, but you're marketing the app. Mm-hmm. Hey, we're creating an app that does this. Anybody interested? I have some questions. Can anybody help me with the survey? That right there. And you're marketing, and you're grabbing emails.
Right. And that even like you said with Facebook, if I was to put it out there with, if I was looking at anyone that was recently incarcerated, what type of support did you have coming out? Like, did you feel like it was a lot, or was it some specific resources that you felt was beneficial? Because then I could get names of things that I could actually go and look into. If somebody could tell me like what it is that they are using or whatever. So I got a couple things. You did plant some seeds, Nancy. I appreciate it.
Yep. Oh, the other thing I would do is check with MATC and Milwaukee, UW Milwaukee. See if any of the marketing classes would like to use you as a project for learning, and let them do the market research for you.
Oh, okay.
I've done that already, where there was a class that was a marketing class, and it took a couple of months, but I was their business to help them come up with ideas and suggestions. So if you talk to them, it's a thought. Okay. All right. Does anybody else have anything else today? Otherwise, we're going to wrap just a few minutes early today. I think we've really covered some fantastic information here. So are you guys good with everything, or do you got something else?
I'm good.
You're good?
Mhm.
Janae,
I'm
you're good?
Mhm.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Then you all go off and have an absolutely fabulous day.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Nice meeting you.
You too, Luke. Bye bye.
If you're age 50 to 85,